If you are ready to take your SmartSuite solutions to the next level, you are going to love the power that formulas puts in your hands. With a SmartSuite formula, you can calculate pretty much anything that you can imagine using all the linked relationships and the different interconnections of your SmartSuite solutions. Formulas at the surface can seem pretty simple, but pretty quickly, you can go down the rabbit hole and start to feel a little overwhelmed. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you step by step how to build formulas so that they work 100% of the time in SmartSuite. If learning more about putting together excellent formulas is of interest to you, stick around and let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Gareth, and this is Gap Consulting. It's our mission to help you unlock the full potential of no-code tools so that you can escape spreadsheets. And in this video, we're going to be focusing on one of our favorite tools, SmartSuite. Now, before we get into the heart of things, I first want to invite you to join me for automation training. One of the key functions of no-code is allowing you to automate repetitive tasks in the background. If you can truly master this feature, you will be stunned at how much time you are able to save. I want to give you some training on doing exactly that you can grab at gapconsulting.io/webinar-registration. You'll find that link wherever this video is found. But without further ado, let's hop on into my screen. I want to invite you to follow along with me. If you're already a SmartSuite user, pop this open. I'm going to give you some tips here to help you write better formulas. If you're not already a SmartSuite user, sign up using our affiliate link. Now, where I'm starting from here is the Sales CRM template. You can easily install this into your own account if you'd like. Now, I'm going to do a quick background because it's very important for us to always understand how tables are interrelated. So here I've gone into my grid view and I can look at the different example data that is available here. Here are the different accounts. And if I look at the different fields to display, you can see that we have a link from account to opportunity. Now I can flip into opportunities, and similarly, I have now the different opportunities that we're going through. Now, if we scroll over, we're going to see the reciprocal of that link, because when we link A to B, then B is also linked to A. So here, opportunities are also linked to account. It's called account restored in this particular template that I've installed. But you can see at a glance that some of these opportunities are linked to the same account. So in this case, I've got my third opportunity here. Again, this is just sample data, but it says Google Cloud opportunity. And then this one down here is another Google Cloud opportunity. This one is new. This one has to do with expansion. But these are two separate opportunities that are connected to the same account. Now, what if I want to know how much do I have in the pipeline with a particular account? So I can obviously see here at a glance, hey, look, Google Cloud, it's got 15,000, right? And over here, I've got 65,000. And I can do the mental math and say, all right, that gets me to what, 80,000. But I don't want to have to do the mental math. I want a place where I can look at that information and be updated with it right away. Now, I might also want to have that information broken down by the source of the opportunity, because we can see here that this is coming from outside sales. This is coming from inside sales. So different calculations would be really helpful here, right? We've grouped the different opportunities here. We can also imagine a scenario where we want to see how many opportunities do we have, or what's the total value with a particular stage, for example. So let's take a look at how we can write this information back in formulas on our accounts page. I've gone into our accounts table again, and we know that we have that link to opportunities. And if we recall, there is an estimated value on the opportunity. And so we will start with this, but the first step is to add a new field. Now, if you're new to database tools like SmartSuite, starting out with formulas might feel a little funky, especially if you're coming from a spreadsheet mindset. So we have to overcome a few of our limited thoughts. Now, number one, when you're working in a spreadsheet, you just point and click from one cell to another, and you can easily multiply, divide, do all the fancy functions. The key difference, though, when you're working in a database is that when we write a formula, it's going to reference entire columns, or as we call them, fields. So we can't just point to a specific cell. We instead have to reference an entire column or field of data. So let's start by simply telling SmartSuite, hey, we're writing a formula. This new field that we're adding, formula. I'll just highlight this and call it total pipeline value. Let me get that going. And once I'm happy with this, you'll see that I can simply and easily start here by selecting a couple fields and doing some very simple arithmetic, adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing. And this is a great place to start if you've never written formulas in SmartSuite before. But we're going deeper than this. So I'm just going to start by kicking off that advanced editor. Once I hit the advanced editor and toggle this on, SmartSuite has recently put together this amazing new interface for us to write better formulas. Now, what I want to do, of course, is access the linked information to the account. I want to know what the total value of my pipeline is. So I'm going to perform a sum. Pretty straightforward. Now, if you're ever unsure what formula or function to use, SmartSuite's put together tons of different functions here, and we can perform a search if we're not sure what we're looking for. Now, of course, I've used this plenty of times before, so I knew to start off with sum. And once I start typing that, it limits the functions here on the left-hand side and automatically filters them down. Now, you could technically come in and, open this up with parentheses, but just to make sure I don't make syntax errors, I prefer, let's rewind from the beginning here. I prefer to actually make the selection from the list, because when I do this, I have no syntax errors at all. And in addition to this, on the right-hand side, when I've made that selection, you see that I get the proper syntax for this function. So it's telling me, look, you can add a bunch of numbers in here, or you can look at a linked record and then drill into a specific field in that linked record, and I'll sum it all up for you. It gives us some examples as well. So if this syntax is a little hard to read, well, look at the actual example, and it even tells you what is going to come out of it. So in this case, we can add up a bunch of numbers separated by commas, and it's going to return them. So it says if number 1 is 10 and number 2 is 20 and number 3 is 30, it's going to say 10 plus 20 plus 30. Pretty straightforward, and give us 60. Now let's actually look at this second one, because this is more aligned with what we are doing for our first function. Now, for us, we're looking at our linked relationship to opportunities. Now, all of the different fields here on the side are available to us. Because we are in the accounts table, these are all the fields that are in the accounts table. And I want to look at those opportunities linked. So I select this. Now you'll notice that when we are referencing fields, they are always in square brackets. But it's not enough for me to sum the opportunities, because what I want to do is actually sum a number that is in a field in the linked opportunities. So in order to access a field through the linked relationship, I need to use the dot. This is called dot notation, and it's one of the things that makes SmartSuite formulas so powerful. Now that I've added the dot, again, on my left-hand side, I'm looking at fields, but this time, these are the fields that are in the opportunities table. So it's a little bit much to wrap your head around the first time, but I started from the account table. I have a link to opportunities, and I'm saying I want to sum the linked records in the opportunities table that have what? Well, for us, we want to look at that estimated value. So this is a field inside of our opportunities table, and simply by selecting it here from the left-hand side, I'm able to access the values. Now, because we've performed a sum function here, and it is now complete, that is, I've written a complete formula, I have now eliminated the warning sign that was previously down here at the bottom. Now, if I go back and actually make a change to my formula here, you'll see that error popping up one more time. So this is a great way for you to get constant feedback, and it's telling you here, hey, this is an invalid syntax. You can't really get anything out of this formula because it's not properly written. I'm going to just add that square bracket back in, and that little error message goes away. Now let's go ahead and add this field, and this is easy enough. It's going to bring back this total pipeline value. And remember again, what we're doing is looking at the linked relationships here for opportunities, and we're bringing back the sum of the estimated value. If I scroll down to Google Cloud, you'll remember we had two different opportunities there, one for 15 and one for 65K. this is now properly adding up that 80,000. But if we want to go deeper, and we really should, we can build even more advanced formulas. In this case, I'm going to do something similar to this sum, but it's going to be slightly different. Let's go back and we're going to again tell SmartSuite we're writing another formula. We're going to go right into our advanced editor again. And I forgot to update the name. So here I'm going to call this total closed deals. So now we're going to do a summation again of that value. Same thing that we did before, but we're going to do it conditionally. So for us, you may have already noticed when I brought this up the last time, we can bring in a SUMIF. It's similar to the sum function, but it's a little bit more involved. So here we're going to look at the criteria. This criteria, when met, will then allow us to sum this output. So we already know what the second thing is that we want to sum, but what's the criteria? Well, in this case, because I have multiple different things going into the same function, I like to actually separate this with a carriage return. So I want to bring in my different variables, and I'm going to put each one of them on a different line. This makes it way easier to read. And I'm also going to indent them just a bit so that we have an easier piece for our eyes, so that when we go back and we look at this formula, we can see exactly what it means. So here on this first line is the criteria that I need to meet in order to use the value of the estimated value. And I only want to sum closed deals. Well, in order to figure out if a deal is closed, first I need to access the deal. And the deal is in the opportunities table. Now I need to go a layer deeper. What is the next level in the opportunities table? Remember, this is now showing me fields after I hit that period immediately following a linked relationship, dot notation. So I want to look at the status, essentially, of this deal. How do I find out what that is? Well, it's probably here in stage. So the stage of the deal, if it is complete or if it's won, then I want to count it. Now, right now, because I am not on the other table, I don't remember exactly what we call this. Like, what is the actual status or stage when it is a completed or won deal? I don't know. So I'm going to put in a placeholder for now so that we can move on with our formula. So I'm saying my condition to sum this is when the stage is equal to, and then inside of quotations here, I'm going to say closed -1. So this is a string inside of my double quotes. I'm going to update this after we've completed the formula to be a reflection of whatever that closed status is. But for now, it's a placeholder. I'm not exactly sure if it is proper. Now, I need to go into my next piece of the SUMIF function. So I separate these with commas. And again, like I said, to make it easier to read, I'm going to do another carriage return. Now you'll notice over here on the right-hand side, I've still got my examples from this stage. If I want to get back to the other syntax, that is the help text for the SUMIF, it's actually pretty easy, but you just need to know how to do it. Now, first, I need to click into the SUMIF itself. And again, it's going to bring up the functions, and then just selecting that function again from the list is going to bring the help article back up on the right-hand panel. So this is a really useful thing for you to know as you're writing this. If you forgot what the next a variable is in the SUMIF syntax, well, now we just brought it back up. Now, of course, we already know this because we wrote it previously. So for us, it is going to be opportunities dot estimated value. So now what we're doing is we're saying we are only going to sum the estimated value in the case where the opportunity is linked to this record and the stage of the opportunity is closed -1. Now, is that the proper syntax? Closed -1? I don't think it is. But apparently it is. I guess I guessed it right, which is surprising. I'm going to flip back now into the opportunities, and I'm going to show you exactly what value we need to find for that. We're going to open this back up and start back up at the top. You'll see here in the stage, this is what we're grabbing. So I don't know if I just accidentally remembered it or if it's just kismet, but that's exactly what we're looking for. If we had a different letter here, if we had an extra space, it is even case sensitive. We need to match it exactly to this. But back in accounts now, you're going to see that with that new formula that we added, the total closed deals is bringing in the total amount that we have closed. And if we use Google Cloud as an example again, we know that we've got 80K in the pipeline, but we've only closed 65. And if we go into our opportunities and we take a look at these two deals, we're going to see exactly that. Let's find those Google Cloud opportunities. The first one is in scoping. So this is not going to count, this 15,000. But the second one here is closed one, and this 65 is what counts. So that is how the SUMIF is working. Now, here's the key takeaway for you. If you're new to writing these formulas, number one, we're not writing to specific cells. We're writing to entire fields or columns at a time. Number two, and this is a big one, take it step by step. Just simply write every component of your function one at a time and test every step of the way. Sometimes this means that I build 5 different formula fields and I do each step independently before combining them all together. This tip is going to save you a lot of headache and a ton of heartache as well. Just go ahead and break it down into the simple components, and before you know it, you'll be writing formulas more quickly than you ever imagined possible. Now, I know we went quickly in this video, but I hope you got a ton of value. If you did, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if there are questions you didn't get answered, swing by our website. We've got a ton of resources for you. Most importantly, though, keep on building.